If these oil companies are drilling such big wells and having such great success drilling up in the Anadarko Basin in Oklahoma, why doesn't Exxon, Continental Resources, British Petroleum, why don't these big major oil companies buy the minerals themselves? Why are they leasing instead of buying? Well, let me tell you why. It's like being a great race car driver, and you know exactly what it takes to drive a car, to win the race, to create all the atmosphere to have a winning team, and then asking them, well, why don't you buy the racetrack? Why don't you buy the track that you run on? The reality of it is owning minerals is a completely different model than drilling wells. They have two different economics, and they make two different financial assumptions and returns. In this case, what happens is that the oil companies have to have a certain amount of money in order to develop and extract and completely create the value of the minerals that they're drilling on. It's like a successful company. I want to have an office space. I don't go buy the 10-story building, but I lease out for a 5 or 10-year lease the top 2 floors. I know I could afford the building. I know I can buy it if I want to. I know it'd be mine. But I'm going to make a lot more money by leasing the space in the top 2 floors of that building and putting my money to work at building the bridges or whatever I do as far as a business goes. In this case, let me tell you what has happened. There are minerals being bought by major oil companies. They've set up subsidiaries. They've set up smaller investment groups. And they will buy $100, $200, $300 million of minerals. And they use those minerals to help improve the ownership percentage they have in certain areas where they are drilling. Now that is a great way for you and I as mineral owners to buy minerals in those properties where these major oil companies are drilling. And the idea is that once we have our minerals developed by those major companies, that creates a great exit strategy. What Troy Eckert and Eckert Land plan on and are willing to do, and we design and will be doing probably in the next 3 to 5 years, we will take mineral interests that we own underneath wells drilled by big oil companies. Once those wells are online and cash flowing, we will go back to those same companies and say, by the way, we own 100 acres under your last 2 wells. We paid $9,750 an acre. Now they're proven, they're de-risked. We'd like to offer you to buy those back for maybe $20,000 to $30,000 an acre. Now, the oil companies are very interested in buying minerals under their already producing proven wells. Why? Most likely they know, the oil company knows, that there's 1 well drilled, but they're planning on drilling 5 or 6 or 7 more. They're willing to give a major uplift in value because of the reserves that are found and the future development that's going to take place. So the question is a great question. Why don't oil and gas companies buy the minerals they're drilling on? They do. They just don't have that in their business model. It is a side, subsequent investment that is not the mainstay of their product. That allows you and I, as investors, to follow those great big oil companies, learn by permit and by drilling rig applications and all the other data that's available to figure out where they're going to plant their next successful well. And what we do is go out and get underneath those wells with minerals that we buy under Eckert Land and Acquisition. And once we buy them, we take title to them and we secure them. We then come to you, our qualified partners, and say, hey, would you like to be a partner underneath Exxon's well, Continental's well, British Petroleum? This is what we do for a living. I'm Troy Eckert with Eckert Land. Thank you so much for paying attention and listening to this particular subject.